when he was a baby, we did sign language before he was talking. And every once in a while, you know, you'll see the pig come out or something.
Oh, Pissy!
Getting him to articulate is one of the things that we work on continually. And if we don't understand what he's saying, maybe the word's not coming out, we'll say, okay, can you sign it to us? And maybe he signs it, and then we understand what he's saying, and we work on saying that a little bit clearer. I mean, it's very important. I think you don't realize when you have a child that talks all the time, when you have one that doesn't, just to know if they're in pain, or if their head is hurting, or if their belly's hurting, or any type of needs they need, if their nose is running, you know, just anything like that. If they're able to communicate, you can take care of their needs so much quicker, and it makes just life a little bit better in general. I would say he's 5 now, and he communicates probably, I mean, on the therapist level part of it, probably at about a 3.5-year-old on his expressive language, what actually comes out, but on his receptive language, on what he understands and the words that he comprehends, he's right on age level. And I think a lot of that comes from reading and from the sign language, that maybe he can't express that full sentence, but he understands it completely. They always tell us that, you know, the kids learn the most as far as language development between the ages of, you know, 3 and 5, and that's something that we have been focused on ever since he was a baby. And sometimes I don't think that I realized before we had Collin that it really takes a lot of muscles in your face to be able to speak, and it takes a lot of muscles in your stomach. And we had to do, and we still do, a lot of activities of blowing bubbles or blowing something across the table, which strengthens your stomach muscles, because when you talk, a lot of air comes out of your mouth. And when he was a baby, he couldn't sustain that for a long period of time. And as he's gotten older, we've really strengthened those muscles in his face. We do face massaging and face exercises, and things where we put a little candy in his mouth and say ta-da-na-la. And that does a lot of strengthening to help him talk, because a lot of times it's not the receptive muscles, you know, in the brain coming out, it's actually the physical muscles within his body where he has a hard time getting the actual words out.
When you're talking to Collin, it requires you to be a better listener than you have to be normally. And so it teaches you things that you can use outside of just talking with Collin. I think it's helped me at work, because when I listen to Collin, I have to stop what I'm doing and actively listen. And so at work, I'll do the same thing. I'll stop and say, okay, what are you trying to tell me? So I think he's taught us a lot. It's just a matter of sometimes you don't realize what you take for granted.